Studio 10. You know, my friends, it seems that these days everyone is searching for some sort of spiritual enlightenment. We're always so busy. We just don't always take the time to look inside.
I like how you slowed things down a little bit there.
Did I slow things down?
You did. You
Really?
slowed things down. You're taking it easy. Yeah, everyone really is searching for... I really believe everyone really is searching for some sort of spiritual enlightenment, and we're always very, very busy.
You're looking for, you know, yeah, the big spiritual experience.
You are.
I think if you're trying to have the spiritual experience, some people just try too hard.
Some people do, but you know, one Atlanta real estate developer named Cheryl Simone actually recognized the spiritual void in her life, and with the help of mystic Sadhguru Yogi Vasudev, she was able to fill it. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Okay, let's start out, Cheryl, with sort of where were you at in your life where you realized that there was sort of something missing for you?
Probably it kind of haunted me my whole life. The voice of, isn't there more than this?
Even though you had incredible success, there was still something lacking.
Yes. You know, it's kind of disappointing when you've checked off your list about, you know, I've got the job I want, I've got the career I want, plenty of money coming in, I have a wonderful relationship, a beautiful son, and even then, that voice doesn't go away. Before you get that, you think, okay, if only I get this, then everything will be fine. You know, so if only I can have a job that I'm interested in, if only I can have the perfect relationship, whatever it is you're trying, as long as you're out there chasing that one thing, then you feel like, well, that's the thing that's missing, and that's why I've got this voice that won't quite let me settle down. Then when you, if you can put all those pieces together, maybe they don't even stay, but if you can have a period in time when all those pieces fit together and still that voice says, is this really all there is to life? Isn't there more to being human than this? And it looks like maybe a few people found a much bigger, blissful experience of life. So I had a curiosity, how did they get that? Were they born different than me, or was this possible for me as well? And I went on a 30-year search on the side while I was building my business, while I was falling in love, while I was doing everything. I had a side story that was looking for a spiritual something, and I tried many, many things. I tried lots of yoga, lots of meditation, everything I could think of. And then 6 years ago I met Sadhguru, and only then did something blast open.
So how did you two initially get together? How did you meet?
Actually,
you're not married.
No.
You met and you've been.
I met at a public talk that he gave. I'd heard about him from somebody in California, and he ended up coming to my hometown in Atlanta, and I just sat in a talk, and something said, oh, he knows what I want to know, and you know, I want to know what he's got to say about how we can go somewhere with this.
And
so.
what do you know, Sadhguru? I want to know this thing also. What is it that, how often, first of all, do you encounter Cheryl's situation where somebody feels like they really have everything, but there's still something missing?
Every day. Every day.
So what was it that you said that really flicked the switch in her?
It's not about what you say, it's about how you are, in the sense. Now she asked, Holly asked, what is it that you know? I don't know anything except this piece of life. I know this piece of life from its origin to its ultimate. That's all I know. And if you know this piece of life, in a certain way, you know the whole cosmos. Because,
go ahead.
Because the way the whole creation has happened, that is the way this also has happened. Who you are right now as a human being, this whole creation happened from within, isn't it? So this is a package of both the source of creation and the creation happening from within. So if you know this piece of life, everything that's worth knowing about life, you know it, because if you know this piece of life, you also know this piece and that piece and every piece, because every piece of life was made the same way as this piece of life was made.
So we're each sort of a microcosm of the world in general.
Yes.
What do you? I've got to think that people go to you a lot and just ask flat out, what is the meaning of life? What are we doing here? Why are we here? What is the point of all this? What do you tell people who ask you that?
Such questions arise in people only because they have not known the immensity of what it means to be alive. Because they are living on so much of a surface. They're living a surface life. That's why this question comes up, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? Is there some God-ordained purpose for me? These kind of questions coming up in people. Essentially because they have not tasted life in its full depth and dimension. If you know the immensity of what it means to be life, then such questions will not arise. Even in your life, in everybody's life, at some point these questions do come up. But when do they come up? When you're really very blissful and joyful, do they come up?
No, they don't.
No.
Only
When
when
you're despondent.
somehow life has become a drag for some reason,
Right.
that is when they come up. So essentially, when your experience of life is not exuberant enough, not alive enough, that is when the questions come up. Or in other words, when you're not life, but when you're just a bundle of thoughts, that is when it comes up.
So how do you then explain to people how to come to this place of exuberance? How do you find that place?
This is not a teaching, this is not a philosophy, this is not a belief system, this is a technology. Simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. You do this, this and this will happen. So this is just a technology, this is not a teaching or a philosophy. So we transmit the technology because it's subjective technology. It has to be transmitted, it just cannot be taught. So we always demand a very focused and committed atmosphere. Generally we need somewhere between 26 to 28 hours of focused time to make this happen for an individual. In the last, this is the 26th year of Isha Yoga since I started this. For the first 20 years, I have never appeared in front of a television camera, never a press interview, never any kind of posters, banners, brochures, nothing. No any kind of publicity. But still millions of people came to us only by word of mouth, simply because the strength of the experience is what it carries the whole thing. Even today we have 1 million registered volunteers doing this work around the world. In the last 5 to 6 years, we are advertising ourselves a lot. We are going everywhere simply because of the social outreach programs we started in India and in Africa too now. Because of large-scale social outreach programs, we are advertising ourselves. But for the spiritual part of the work, it just happens by word of mouth, always.
On a totally different topic, I have to ask this because I know a lot of our viewers are wondering this. How long did it take you to grow the beard?
I did not grow it. It grows by itself.
You just waited.
Well, he shut my water off, didn't he?
Well, Cheryl, the book is called Midnights with the Mystic, and these are just your conversations with Sadhguru, right? Just basically the experiences you had built around those conversations.
He spent a week at my lake house. He had some inner work, and I offered my lake house, and he was busy during the day. And at midnight, his assistant and I took the boat out, went to an island in the middle of the lake, built a bonfire, and I got to ask him all the questions I had since I was a child. And it was such an intense, powerful experience. I wanted everybody to have it, so I tried to bring them along on the boat ride and the sitting by the fire with the book.
That's wonderful. So everybody can be touched by Sadhguru in some way without having to actually be in his presence, because I'm sure that's very difficult for you to be in everybody's
But he also is starting to come a little bit to teach to this country. There's some programs some teachers are giving in Tampa and St. Pete, and Sadhguru also in November will be here.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, come on back and see us.
We'll look forward to that.
Yes.